I woke up in the middle of the night and I was covered in sweat. My wife was scared because I was screaming in my sleep. And she asks me, what happened? And I had the nightmare. Turns out I was back in school and there was a test. And the teacher asked us to write 1,000 words about Ray's personality. Like what makes Ray different? What makes her tick? And I was thinking like, no, that's impossible. It cannot be done. That's child abuse, teacher. Like, stop it. You cannot make me do this, because like no one can. There is nothing there. There is nothing to write. I have seen the movie, I promise. But he didn't believe that I saw them. He thought that I was just some troll online just giving bad reviews. Didn't believe I saw them. I'm like, no, teacher, I saw them. It's like, they're right at I can't. There's nothing there. So look at this, right? The director, Charmin obeyed Kinoy? Is how it's pronounced? I'm sorry, me no speaking. I'm Romanian, okay? Romanian is my first language. I don't know how to pronounce American names. But apparently Ray is the key to the franchise's future. Oh my god. It's like being in a country that's invaded by the enemy, and the key to our future is this paraplegic person. You know, it's like he's stuck in a wheelchair. It's like, well, this is the key to our future. Not very hopeful, right? Like, surely you're not going to make another episode called A New Hope with a title like this. You know, I will tell you, it's like, this is called delusion in my country, right? Like, if you notice reality and you know how things are, but you want things to be different, so you choose to ignore reality in favor of what's in your mind, that is what we call a delusion. Because the reality shows it's not just some trolls on the internet. Like, men like female characters, okay? Like, Tomb Raider exists. Even the Fallout show that came out, which I particularly don't like, it actually did very well. Star Wars Rogue One did very well. There is ample amounts of evidence that people do like female characters. It's just that we do not have the faith that you know how to write female characters, alright? Like, maybe if you fire your staff and hire some Japanese people from a manga studio, maybe they would actually be able to do a better job than you do. Like, the problem is, I know that Disney used to have people better than the Japanese, because back in the day, when I was trying to show anime to people, people would be like, nah, this looks boring, this looks lame, you know, I like my Western entertainment because it's superior. And it was, like, DC and Marvel at the time were beating any Japanese manga, except for Dragon Ball, maybe, right? But they lost the plot. They do not have the ability to create good things anymore. And when they create something, instead of going like, all right, well, we didn't quite get it right, like, let's tinker with the formula, they're like, no, the formula is absolutely perfect. We need to tinker with the customer. We need to tinker with the market. If only we can educate the customer better, they will want our shit. Right? Like, imagine you're making one of the worst cars in existence. It's got 3 wheels. It can barely take a turn. It's like a really bad car. But you're like, you know what? It's the people that are the problem for not buying our car. So we need to educate the people more in order to buy our car. And then everything is going to be fine. Rather than, you know, just go like, okay, well, maybe we should just make cars the way they're supposed to be made, with 4 wheels, and, you know, give them a little bit of polish so that we can attract people to buy it. But no. When it comes to Rey, it's not just that, like, the previous movies were unpopular. And you gotta understand, you know, like, the previous movies did the way they did also because of the franchise. Like, a lot of people went to see Star Wars not because they liked the Disney take on it or anything like that. They went to see Star Wars because it's Star Wars. Because they've been fans for so long that they didn't want to abandon the franchise. But when Solo came out, which, by the way, was a pretty decent film, like, it wasn't that bad, people didn't go see Solo specifically because of the previous films that they saw. Like, they lost faith in the brand. They lost faith in Disney. They lost faith in all of that. And the way Disney wants to recover from that, the way they wants to gain faith back from the customer, is to double down. And you can tell that this character isn't popular. Like, how many ladies that you see cosplay as this character? Like, whenever I go to a geek convention of whatever nature that is, usually you have women cosplaying as anime characters or video game characters. I have never seen... I'm pretty sure, like, there must be one out there, you know, one that Disney didn't pay, which cosplays as Rey. But, like, overwhelmingly, women do not cosplay as this character. The toys of this character does not sell. There aren't spin-offs or stories. There's no place on the internet where people gather to discuss about Rey's heritage or, to look at interesting aspects of her. Now, if you want to compare this, look at Darth Vader. Like, look how many comics Darth Vader spins, and look how many fans of Darth Vader there are, how many toys they sell, how many video games want to include Darth Vader in it, how many people talk about Darth Vader's character and motivation. You don't even have half of that for Rey. And when you have that, and you double down, and you're like, no, we really want this character. We really want to force it. And you even say, oh, it's the key to the Star Wars future. Like, at this point, it's not even a bad decision. It's just delusional. Like, you must ignore all of the market. I do not believe that these individuals do not know what the fans are talking about. I do not believe that they don't have the sales data. I do not believe that they are this level of clueless and detached. So, in the opinion of the soon-to-be franchise director, the character of Rey is the key to the future survival of the entire Star Wars franchise. Yeah, I mean, you know what? I probably agree. If you add her in, there will be no more franchise. Like you're getting Star Wars to be this toxic that people just avoid it like the plague. I gotta say, the Acolyte, it's got the best anti-piracy system in the world. In fact, I never knew that you can actually have anti-piracy for TV shows, but yes, you can. Like, Acolyte is so bad that it would be interesting to see a chart from, like, popular torrent sites and just to see how many people are getting it, because I'm willing to bet not that many. Like, remember Game of Thrones when it came out? Like, there was this huge controversy. It was like Game of Thrones and Attack on Titan, and the people that created those shows were absolutely livid because they were losing so much money with people, like, pirating. No one is pirating the Acolyte. Like, you can't even make the argument, oh, it's so good, it's just that people are spiteful. Because if that was the case, they would hurt you financially, but they're not even interested in doing that. And what's even worse than hate, what's something that is the absolute opposite of love, is ignorance and indifference. So when I saw the Acolyte, I just watched the trailer, and I was like, okay, this is not for me. I didn't even click on it. I'm not interested. And then I find out that it's the dumpster fire that I even expected. Like, the trailer just told me everything that I need to know, and I managed to make such an accurate prediction that it actually fulfilled my expectations. So, this is what's happening here, right? Like, if you have a person in charge that looks at one of the things that actually cost Disney money and got people to not watch Solo, and you're basically saying, oh yeah, we're going to put them in charge, and they're thinking like, yeah, this massive flop, nothing wrong with it, keep going as is. Well, now I know everything I need to know, right? So the director who is currently attached to the helm is going to give her take, and pressed by her host for her current feelings towards directing the next major entry. Sometimes you walk in the footsteps of people and giants with created worlds, and in this case is George Lucas. And at the heart of it, for me, is Rey, Daisy Ridley, and her story. It's like, why did they draw her as if she has Down syndrome? What the fuck? And sort of creating a world that is a natural dovetail, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I gotta say, someone that did watch The Acolyte, like, they told me what's going on, and I was, like, completely baffled. Just so you know, right, like, if you play DK, you're the Kuber, and you're, like, the worst person imaginable. If you want female characters in video games and movies, then you're a porn-obsessed person. Now, someone told me the romance story in The Acolyte, and if anyone happened to have watched that shit, please confirm if it's true or not. But there's this guy, comes in, murders a bunch of people. I think, like, he murders the sister of the protagonist or some shit, and then injures the protagonist, but then heals her, and now fans are shipping this person. And it's like, do you understand that you are shipping for, like, one of the most toxic, abusive relationships on screen? And like, it's fine. Like, if that's what you're into, I'm not gonna judge. Far from me to judge. But these are probably some of the most judgmental people on the internet. Like, if you want to see a female character with big tits that's, like, supportive of the male Kai, and she's wholesome and feminine, they will call you porn obsessed. But, like, the things that they like is some of the most toxic, abusive relationships that Hollywood has ever managed to produce. And this is what's being promoted, right? Meanwhile, like the Disney princess story, the wholesome romance stuff, no, that's bad. That's heteronormative. We need to get away from it. So this is what I gotta say about, Disney and the Acolyte. Let me know what you think, though. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.